Cristiano Ronaldo breaking more records yet again. Does Aston Villa pose to be Arsenal's arch nemesis yet again this season, or can the Gunners take an early step towards the Premier League title? And does Mason Greenwood take Ligue 1 by storm with another fantastic weekend? It's all coming up. It's the weekend warm-up. Let's get straight into it.
Hello for Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow! Vinícius Júnior! Vini Malvadeza, que golaço! Built it in for the champions by Rodri! Palmer makes it 4! It's Xavi Simons! It's a belting goal!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the weekend warm-up. Match day one had come and gone from the major leagues, and what a weekend it was. But we've got another massive weekend of football coming up. The Bundesliga is back. Interesting games along the Premier League at the top, in the middle and the bottom. And then Serie A this season is going to be very, very interesting alongside the two big clubs in La Liga. Can they produce some better performances on the weekend? There's a lot to go through in this episode here. We want to start at the top, the major storylines of this week going into the weekend, and you've got to start with Chelsea. It's the name on everyone's lips right now. Such a negative feel around the club right now. Went nowhere near Manchester City on the opening day. City outclassed them, outperformed them, and got a really impressive 2-0 victory. But it seems right now Chelsea, a lot of the focus is off the pitch. Enzo Maresca's been under the fire, under the gun. Now it seems like he's exiled Raheem Sterling as well, joining the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Trevor Chalobah, and also Conor Gallagher, who's now made his way to Atletico Madrid. But there seems to be so much focus on the off-field dramas that we cannot focus on Chelsea's on-field drama. And I feel like this weekend versus Wolves is going to be a massive game for the club. Can you start making some positive feels and positive vibe around the club with a good result on the weekend? You know, last weekend was really pathetic. It was poor. You saw some good signs from Ramil Lavia, Caicedo. The defence looked good. But we need to see more focus on that rather than what's going on in the transfer window, who's being sold, who's being exiled this week, who's not a part of the squad. And Enzo Maresca came out and said 21 players is all he's training with. There's a 42-man squad there. So he's got two bunches of 21, and he's chosen 21 for himself, and 21 is just exiled to train on their own away from the squad. It's just such a negative, toxic environment. But to change that, you get victories on the pitch. You take the focus away from off-pitch dramas to on-field dramas by getting 3 points and producing a good performance. I've obviously predicted Wolves to get a point, a 1-1 result against Chelsea on the weekend, because I feel like there's a lot going on at Chelsea. There's a lot of disconnect, and I feel like as such, they're very vulnerable at this point in time. Another club that could be slightly vulnerable as well is Real Madrid. Got the 1-1 draw versus Mallorca on the weekend. A lot said about how they played their football and Kylian Mbappe's selfishness. How does Vini and then Rodrigo and Mbappe all fit in the system where they all want to go on the left? Carlo Ancelotti's a great manager, but how does he get his side to bounce back this weekend? Very, very important, because Barcelona got massive 3 points. And you know what? Despite how good Real can be, we're seeing these massive teams, sometimes egos get in the way, they can fall short, so they want to get at the races and get back on track as soon as possible. I feel like this weekend's a great opportunity for that. Back at the Bernabeu, can they get a fantastic result to get the season back on track? Can they fit Vini, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Bellingham all in the same front line? It'd be interesting to see. It was a slight worry last year. We talked about it a little bit, but we just thought they'd make it work. You know, Vini looked like he was being unselfish to make it work. Can the others around him all work together to make the best for this team and this system? Obviously got Napoli as well, another team who was probably the worst team on the weekend in many regards. 3-0 loss to Hellas Verona, who I predicted had a lot of high chance of going back down to the Serie B. Really poor transfer window, lost a lot of their big names, but they beat Napoli 3-0. Napoli, a big club. Antonio Conte's moved there now. Some big names joining. David Neres joining in the week. Billy Gilmore has had a verbal agreement between both parties. Can they get back on track this weekend against Bologna and get their season alive again? Because there's a real opportunity to get a Champions League spot. A lot of the Serie A is very, very tight. It's very congested. We'll talk about it a bit later on in the show, but it's a real opportunity if you get a big 3 points to jump back in that top pack, and they've got to at least get Champions League football this season. No European football at all, so they're going to just be focused on league football. Antonio Conte's a winner in Serie A. Can his team get back on track? And finally, the Bundesliga season kicks off. Really, really excited. Leverkusen, can they get off the winning start after their fantastic invincible season last year? VfB Stuttgart looked fantastic in the Super Cup, going down in penalty shootout versus Leverkusen. Can they get their season off to a fantastic start despite losing the likes of Sehu Guirassy, Willy Anton, Ito as well? It's a new start for VfB Stuttgart, but Sebastian Hoeneß's side showed in that Super Cup they've got what it takes to compete with the best team in the country. They're away to Freiburg on the opening day. Borussia Dortmund hosts Eintracht Frankfurt, Sahin's first game in charge. We're going to see new faces, Sehu Guirassy, Maximilian Bayer, Pascal Gross alongside Emre Can in midfield, Couto at left back. A really strong team, a new era. Can they compete for the Bundesliga title this season? And the mighty Bayern Munich with Vincent Kompany going away to VfL Wolfsburg. A very, very tough game for them on the opening day. Who will shine for them? Will Harry Kane get off to a flying start again this season in the Bundesliga? There's a lot to be excited about, and that's all to come. Now let's jump to our social media summary. There's a lot happened in the world of social media this last week in the world of football. We start at the top. Cristiano Ronaldo has broken more records now, breaking the 1 million subscribers mark on YouTube in less than 90 minutes.
Recibe.
This guy is incredible, and he's gone and made 20 million subscribers in 24 hours. If some of the subscribers could come here and subscribe, that'd be massive. But we'll take the all new subs we get. But this guy is just a giant. He is basically the king of the social media game. Most followed on Instagram. Ridiculous amount of followers on Facebook, considering how old that account is. And then you go to YouTube. He starts a YouTube account out, and poor Mr. Beast, who we thought was the king of YouTube, has been dethroned in basically a day. Cristiano Ronaldo flexing his collective social media muscle and showing us what he's all about. You are Cristiano. I actually can't wait to have a quick look at it. See, hopefully get some insights on how Ronaldo prepares for games, what he does off the field, because we have an insight to how much he puts into his body and into his career to be so sustainable at such a high level, to be so good at such a high level for so long. But I'd love to get insight into what actually goes on there. So it'd be interesting to see if he opens up to that side of his life on the channel. In other news, João Felix's memorial, chuck it on screen here, has been vandalised by Atletico Madrid fans. I thought it was a bit of a Tottenham Hotspur memorial with all the bottles placed on there, but no, it's all ended quite horribly with João Felix at Atletico Madrid. I said in the podcast he was joined the club for all that money and was meant to be the next big thing. Such a unique player in the mould he played with pace, with power, with quite smart IQ in the football, but never quite worked at Atletico Madrid. And he leaves in a bit of a sour note there to join back with Chelsea this season as well. A massive bit of shithousery. I think we'll see this guy's name a lot this season. Jamie Vardy was seen pointing to the Premier League badge and holding up the one to Tottenham fans after he equalised in the Tottenham Hotspur Leicester City game on Monday night, just showing them that he has one Premier League title and Tottenham and their fans have zero. Obviously the famous Premier League season where Leicester City won the league, Jamie Vardy's still there, the last survivor of that great team. But he's still making it count, smashing a Red Bull at half-time, the picture of that, and coming out and scoring that equaliser. Just classic Jamie Vardy, just classic shithousery from the English centre forward. Now something that really caught me off guard, Messi's bodyguard, there's footage of him sparring some sparring partner, and he goes and breaks the fucking wall. Like,
broke the wall.
Are you kidding me? He's pushed him, he's punched him, he's kicked him into the wall. And this sparring partner has put a massive crack in this wall here. Rule 1, do not come and try and get a photo or a selfie with Lionel Messi, because his bodyguard will send you to Kingdom Come. And you know, if a kid comes through, I think that kid will be sent through the wall if they need to see about it. This guy means business. I think Messi will be in quite safe hands now with his bodyguard doing that to that sparring partner there. And then obviously the Chelsea saga continues to deepen. I'll put Jamie Carragher's comments on screen on Monday Night Football. He mentioned João Felix joining, but where the hell is he going to change?
What Chelsea have got right now, and you're asking where João Felix is going to play. You know what I want to ask you? Where's he going to get changed at the training ground? I'm deadly serious. Where are these people? If you've got 40 players, how are they all in one dressing room? How are you putting a training session on?
And it's really true. 42 players, I believe, now contracted at Chelsea. We've got the comments about Enzo Maresca saying he's only training with 21 players. So what happens to the other 21? How do they feel? And at the end of the day, I might make my own video about this, but they are humans, are individuals. They have feelings, they have emotions as well. We forget that a lot about footballers. And the way that's being chucked to the side, they're only money, I get that, but they don't get to play the game they love and train with their mates and all this. And I think it's just really, really poor what's going on at Chelsea right now. And the comments from Jamie Carragher are very valid. Where the hell is João Felix at a change? Because that changing room, I've seen some big changing rooms when I've toured Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and I can imagine some of the training centres will be massive in terms of training rooms. But can you fit 42 members of a squad in there, plus physios, plus coaching staff, plus the whiteboards and the machines and the massage beds? I don't know how Chelsea are doing it, but it's the most backwards football strategy I've seen. The Wokers bullshit I've seen as well. I just don't like it at all, the way it's going on at Chelsea right now. But so fair play for Jamie Carragher. It's a very valid point. And that's basically everything that's happened in the world of social media this week. It's been a very interesting week in social media. Let's now jump into some big games coming from the weekend's action. The first game comes from the Premier League, and it's probably the most exciting game from all the weekend's football action. Aston Villa host Arsenal. I said in my prediction video, I can see Aston Villa getting at Arsenal here. They did the double over them last season and basically ruined their title chances. And yet again, I can see Unai Emery almost taking it personal the way he exited with Arsenal and trying to get the better of him, because right now it seems they got the better of Mikel Arteta. So it'll be interesting to see how Arsenal respond. If they can win this game of football, it really, in my mind, put a big tick in their book. You know, Aston Villa are a very, very solid side. We haven't seen them have to deal with European football yet, so they're at their best now, this point of the season, at Villa Park as well. Haven't had a good history travelling to Villa either, Arsenal as a football club in general. So it'll be very interesting to see how this game goes. I really think there's a real opportunity here for Aston Villa to get a massive scalp early in the season. For Arsenal, if they can get this win, that goes a long way to convince me they can take it to City once again this season, because boy, the City look really, really good right now. And we're moving away from England quickly. Borussia Mönchengladbach and Bayer Leverkusen is our next big game, for the reason that Bayer Leverkusen start their season following the invincible year away to Mönchengladbach. We'll see how they go this season. They looked okay in pre-season. It's very hard to analyse, but in the Super Cup they played fantastically well. Patrick Schick coming up in the 88th minute to get an equaliser, sends the penalty shootouts. They win a penalty shootouts despite being down to 10 men after half an hour. This club is just inevitable. They find a way to get the job done, and they beat a very, very good VfB Stuttgart side as well. Florian Wirtz coming off the bench to great degree. We saw Victor Boniface get some more minutes under his legs. But interesting how this team goes, or how they develop, because they haven't had too many new faces. Alex Garcia in the midfield of the park is a fantastic get. Terry, who obviously got the red card, is a good get for their attacking side of things as well. Jonathan Tah looks like he's staying at the football club. So there's not much of new players. It's rather keeping the squad from last season. So can they once again lift another level and continue to go again? Can they continue this invincible run this season? Or will they be caught up for the likes of VfB Stuttgart, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund? Be interesting to see how they go to start the Bundesliga season off. Returning back to England quickly in the Championship, keep your eye on this game here. It's Sunderland and Burnley. Two teams have been killing it this season. Sunderland, 6 goals without conceding a goal this season. Burnley with 9 goals, only conceding 1 in their opening 2 games. That goes to show how good these two teams are, playing some fantastic, attacking, entertaining football. Burnley were obviously expected this under Scott Parker with some familiar names. They have lost like Wilson, Odegaard and Sander Berge to Premier League sides, but there's still a lot of quality in this side, and I feel like this season there might be a runaway for them. But Sunderland have started the season off well. They've built across 2 or 3 seasons now with some stability in the Championship. It might just be their season they break into the playoffs and really cause some havoc. They can get a massive result here on home soil against the likely favourites to win the Championship. It'll go a long way for them to compete this season, have that belief they can really take it to the top guys, because I'll be keeping a key eye on this game here. I think it's been one of the most entertaining from all the leagues this weekend, and definitely an eye if you've got a bit of free time to keep an eye on from this season. Both your teams will look to be fantastic, and if you can watch this game, I think it's going to be entertaining from start to finish in this one here. Back to Germany real quick. St. Pauli, the newly promoted side, they had the opening game back in the top flight after an extended period of time. They take on Heidenheim, who's a very interesting package. Obviously, very good last season, very competitive at home, taking it to the big boys at home. I think beating Bayern Munich from memory at home as well. So they're a really, really talented side. Can they go and do the same thing this season? And the question is, how do St. Pauli fair this season. They got the new manager in Alexander Blesin at the club, playing a little bit different football to what they were used to under Hertzler. But interesting to see if they can take that next step. They haven't really signed any new players, kept the same core group. Have they got the ability to match it with the quality and pace of the Bundesliga? It'll be interesting to see. They play their first game in the Bundesliga this weekend, and it's at home as well. So a massive, I think, really big environment to be around there in that opening game of the season. And then going over to Italy to finish us off here, Napoli take on Bologna. As I mentioned previously, Napoli, awful start of the year, probably the worst start of any of the big five leagues. So much expectation surrounding this club, especially with Antonio Conte moving there. Yes, the squad is weak, but I didn't think it was this bad. Me and Nathan said in the podcast, it looked very leggy, looked slow versus Hellas Verona, a side that I thought would be definitely going down. They cut them to pieces, playing through the lines, getting in behind at will. Do they have that backbone to keep up and fight with Bologna, who in their own right want to get their opening win of the season? They got a draw in the opening weekend. Can they fight back and be competitive in this game here? We'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be a very interesting game with both teams looking to get around the European positions. I think for Napoli, you'd think at least Champions League, as I said, without any other European football, they should have the advantage of some fresher legs. They had a good week with David Neres joining and Billy Gilmour agreeing personal terms. Can they top it off with Antonio Conte getting his first win at Napoli and getting back on track in the league on the pitch? It'll be very interesting to see. But that's the 5 key games for me. Now we'll jump over to some of the key players to keep an eye out from this weekend. All right, our first player to watch is someone who I'm very excited to see how he goes this year. It's Mason Greenwood. A fantastic start last weekend versus Brest. 2 goals, 2 pass to assist or touch to assist in many regards. He won a penalty as well. Fantastic on the weekend for Marseille, and becomes the quickest player to score on their debut for the club, and the first player to score a double on their debut for the club in like a massive period of time as well. He absolutely looked dominant, running at pace, running at defenders, left foot, right foot. That's all we're used to with Mason Greenwood. That's what we saw at Manchester United, and all the off-field drama has surrounded him, but he's still a quality player there on the pitch. I think Marseille might have got an absolute bargain for Mason Greenwood. Really talented. Our second season, or first full pre-season under his belt after those charges and after the fines and everything was dropped. He's free of that. He can just play as a footballer for once and focus on the pitch. And I feel like it could be a very dangerous year for him. I think he has the ability here to, a first home game, home to Reims. I think he has an ability to take the league by storm this season. Marseille, for me, are a real title challenge to PSG this year, and he might hold the key. I feel like he might be Golden Boot winner. He might come back onto the map in many regards. Many clubs might see how good Mason Greenwood is, and he might end up being worth taking in despite all the off-field drama because of how good he is a footballer. So keep an eye on him for the weekend. His home debut for Marseille. Those fans will absolutely get around him after a fantastic debut for the club. A second player, Samuel Mbangula. A fantastic debut game for Juventus. Cannot say I knew the guy for a bar of soap in the opening game, but he came in and made the impact. A goal and assist, running at defenders, spreading the play, and just looking really good under Thiago Motta and his style of football. Juventus are going to be a very entertaining attacking team this season, and he can hold the key. Obviously, Federico Chiesa is not a part of the plans. He might be pivotal to this team going forward, and might be one of the most exciting youngsters to keep an eye on for this season. So he's going to be very exciting to watch. They take on Verona this weekend, a very beatable side. Obviously, Verona were very good versus Napoli, but can they back it up versus Juventus side? I think Mbangula will be able to stretch his Verona side and use his pace and trickery to his advantage and get back on the score sheet once again. And our third and final player is Michael Olise. A personal favourite player of mine, was fantastic at Crystal Palace. If he gets the chance to start on the weekend versus Wolfsburg, I think he'll tear it up. I think the Bundesliga is made for him to be dominated. He's so smart on the ball. He's worked in so much tight areas. He's been doubled and triple teamed at times at Crystal Palace. He will love the extra space with the likes of Jamal Musiala, Harry Kane, Thomas Muller, Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry, all these players around it. It'll give him so much opportunity to show his skill, show his ability on the ball. And I feel like it's a massive year coming up for Michael Olise, and I think he'll dominate in that first game versus Wolfsburg for me. Now that brings us on to the final part of the show, which is the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to start with the ugly. Barcelona and Chelsea's transfer strategy right now. Ilkay Gundogan going back to Manchester City for free. Barcelona let a Champions League treble winner, key player, go for free. I know the midfield depth is incredible, but the fact you can let a quality player like Ilkay Gundogan go for free just goes to show how cooked the Premier League is this season, because Man City get back there last 10 game machine, İlkay Gundogan. At the turn of the year, this guy turns into an absolute menace and scores goals for fun. Then you got Chelsea, who I said previously, and I said a lot last week's show, this week's show, the way they've traded their players, Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah, now Raheem Sterling, Romelu Lukaku, it's not right. It's unhuman in many regards, and it's just a lot of injustice going on at Chelsea right now. And to be honest, these two football clubs I've been made to hate because the way they treat their players, the way they've gone about spending and just shipping off players and treating them as commodities rather than actual people and footballers, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't sit right with me. I know it doesn't sit right with a lot of people. So for me, that's the ugly of this week. Those two clubs for me have gone too far with the way they've done their transfer strategy. The bad is a bit of a different one. New Champions League theme was released during the week. I won't be able to play it because of copyright, but they've added some new violins and stuff. It's not even that bad, but for me, the bad in general is just UEFA changing everything. They've changed the normal Champions League format. We've got extra games now. They want that money. It's very obvious. But can we just go back to traditional Champions League? Give us the theme from back in the early 2000s. Give us the setup. That's the normal setup. A couple of groups, round of 16. None of this massive pools of teams. It just seems wrong. I feel like they'll switch back in a few years' time, especially the groups system and this pooling, like the Swiss system that they call it. They'll change it back in a few years' time when they realise players getting injured. Fans don't want too much Champions League football because it ruins the specialty of it. And they're changing too much for me right now. That's the bad thing this week. Changing the theme, changing the structure of the tournament is just not good enough for me. And then my good is the competitiveness across all the major leagues. There was 6 draws in Serie A, 6 draws in La Liga, 2 in Ligue 1 and 2 in the Premier League on the weekend. We know how great the Bundesliga, how competitive it is top to bottom as well. We're in for a really good season, so that's the good for me this weekend. How competitive all the leagues will be. I think Man City will run away with the Premier League. Serie A could be up for grabs. Inter might not quite be at the races this season. Real Madrid are getting a dodgy start, so we might get a few title races, a few relegation battles in there as well, but that's the good for the first week, how exciting the football was and how even it was across all the major leagues, which is really, really good to see. With that being said, that wraps up the weekend warm-up for this second week here. Another massive week in the world of football. It's been fantastic to do this show and join you guys once again. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Enjoy the football across every single league. Now, every single league is back, so sit back on Saturday, watch it from the crack of dawn in the morning all the way to late at night. It's the best time of the year with football starting right back here. If you're new to the channel, guys, please subscribe to it. Press the post notification bell if you're new as well. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section who's your big players from the weekend, who's the big games from the weekend. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. With that being said, guys, I'll see you later. Until next time, peace.